To answer the question of what are you looking at, Goodwill sure. I figured this was going to be a scuffed video, so I might as well make a horrendous scuffed cosplay to go with it. Speaking of scuffed, let me make something clear before we begin. I am not a confectioner. If there are any Oompa Loompas watching this, please refrain from throwing me into the chocolate river to sleep with the Swedish fish. Because I'm not a confectioner, there were a decent number of, shall we say, fucky-wuckies. The biggest one was choosing the wrong base ingredient to melt. You may be thinking, you just throw sugar in a pot, what are you on about? Instead of doing it the old-fashioned way, I wanted to use monk fruit sweetener instead because it's better for you, and, you know, monks. I'll just let the clips play to show you how that went. Looks like something is happening. Just gonna hope it's the right thing. So far it looks like I've created a potion of Become American, but I think I just have to keep it cooking on low for a little while and then see what happens. Okay, I think it's gaining a bit of thickness. I wish I could describe the smell. It's not a good smell. I wouldn't call it bad, but it's not good. I assume it would be a little better if I used actual sugar, but since I'm using monk fruit sweetener, my best attempt at describing it would be, I'm just blanking, I have no idea. Fairly certain the bubbles are a good sign. In theory, probably. Up next, I guess I gotta try the water test. What the water test consists of is just kinda get some, and then, yep. Okay, so I couldn't capture it on camera very well, but what happened is it just completely fucking disappeared, which is not good. What we want is for it to harden up when it hits the water. So I guess it's just gotta keep going for a while. I guess. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. But I'm gonna try it again after a little time has passed and with a larger quantity. I think using a larger quantity definitely helped its case, but it still definitely needs a bit more time to go. Alright. It's generating a bunch of smoke. I'm about to try the water test again. A bunch of time has passed, and I finally found a way to describe the smell. Imagine if Willy Wonka opened a Mexican restaurant, and then that Mexican restaurant was burned to the ground by arsonists. That's what this smells like. Captain's log, I don't fucking know anymore. Water test has failed again. It's improving, but slowly. I'm not entirely sure if I just need more of the mixture, if I need to cook it for a really long time, or both. Instead of coagulating into a solid mass, it dissipates into a bunch of crystals, like a geode almost, which is not what I'm going for. So I guess I'll just keep it going. However, I have noticed that it's gaining a slight little bit of color, so that's probably good. I think. Captain's log number 69420. I had to engage the fans because this shit is making a lot of smoke. And just to show you how much smoke. Don't know how well it's going to come across in the camera, in the video, but you can kind of see this with the separation of the light beam in the window, you can kind of see the haziness. This made a good amount of smoke. In hindsight, I should have just manned the fuck up and had the fan on at all times because I figured it would make a lot of smoke, but I wanted to preserve the audio quality. Note to self, being able to see and breathe is a little more important. In other news though, we're getting more color. I think it's getting closer to ready. Probably. Because this stuff does not smell good, the smoke is getting pretty thick, and this fan is annoying, I'm just going to try to test it and see just what happens. Okay, so instead of coagulating, it just turned into tonsil stones. So back to the drawing board, I guess. I really wanted to avoid using a thickener, but I also like not having a smoke screen in my house. Results of cornstarch, looks like I have boiled a horse, and I had to turn the fan on high because a lot of smoke. So give me a second to see what happens when I put this in water. Okay, so I didn't record my reaction, but this thing's a no-go. It is somewhat revolting. So as revolting as the thing tasted, turns out there's actually a bit of a silver lining, because it hardened into an actual candy. The only problem is that it doesn't taste good on its own, it needs the other ingredients. It's a little too thick, and it looks like the result of doing a different kind of spooning.
Before you comment something about how I should have done more research, know that I looked into it and didn't find anything of use. Also, sorry if you enjoyed the green screen. I'm not using it past this point for a couple of reasons, so enjoy this footage of me styling on Sword Saint Ishin using High Monk. One reason I stopped is because I don't feel like I'm cut out for it. I just felt like a fish out of water when I was sitting there in a stupid outfit as the camera and I stare into each other's soul. The second reason is that my editing software would frequently shit itself when I edited the intro. There was a way I could have fixed it to let my old laptop handle it, but that would have caused problems of its own. Alright, enough sob story. Let's see how my attempt at the first candy went.
Here we are post-honey. Pretty honey-like, actually. Tactical insertion of peanut butter engaging. It would appear as though I have created barbecue sauce. Okay, after that last one did not end well and kind of tasted like shit, I'm trying a batch with just regular sugar. I wanted to avoid this, but the monk fruit is creating a lot of smoke and just generally not tasting well after it becomes into candy, which is not what candy should do. Alright, this looks and smells pretty promising. My theory is to take it off the heat and use this powder that I've punched in the face like it owed me money to hope it mixes well and doesn't burn. But that's just a theory, so we're gonna find out what happens. Okay, so I forgot to film my reaction because I was busy trying to clean the hard sugar off of the pots before it petrified forever. But I gotta say, this is pretty damn good. It doesn't have that really striking yellow color, but I feel like if I sacrifice too much of the peanut butter powder to give that color, I then lose the really nice nuttiness. Because the honey and the peanut butter go really well together, and I really would hate to give that up.
After I had swapped out the monk fruit sweetener and saw how well things went, I was invigorated and ready to try my hand at a more complex candy. I didn't go in unlock order for the candies because my ideas for them were not created equal in terms of complexity and because I had to wait for delivery of something I ordered. The honey and peanut combination worked out pretty well for Gokans, so let's see how well blueberry and hazelnut worked out for Ungos. If you're wondering why I did 2 nutty candies in a row, it's because I wanted an earthy tone to both Gokans and Ungos due to their respective buffs being all about standing stalwart against threats. Because of that, I figured earthy with a nutritious second ingredient would embody that best.
Another day with the nose at the grindstone. Right now we're going for Ungos, the blue one. Have a little blueberry thing going. Use some of the blueberry water to wet the sugar this time. Have bro watching over me. I have a good feeling about this. Okay, so I tried counteracting the excess water by adding a bit more sugar. The result is thoroughly sticky, but nowhere near where I need it to be. So I think I just need to nuke it for a really long time to boil it back down. Maybe. The batch might be fucked, but I'll find out. Don't want to waste anything. Captain Zog, whatever the fuck. This is looking really promising, and smelling even more so. Especially after that shot at Tarani. So at the start of this I wanted to be as all-natural as possible, but since I've already lost one candy to realism, I'm using a secret weapon. Okay, so for once in my YouTube career, in air quotes, I'm gonna actually film my reaction to things. I can't believe it's a trend that I have to not do my fucking job. Okay, not to toot my own horn, but this shit slaps, and I'm on a roll 2 for 2.
Besides the fact that I overcooked it to the point of looking like the surface of the moon, the only thing I would have done differently was add more blueberry. I held back since I'm pretty particular when it comes to fruit, but now I know I could ante up if I made it again. Did I make a similar mistake with the cinnamon strawberry of Akko's sugar? Why don't we find out?
Alright, day 4. I know this looks like the result of a really, really lame Taco Tuesday, but it's actually strawberries that I'm going to use for Akko's sugar. Looks to me like we got shit going. Added some cinnamon and a little extra something to the strawberries, give it a bit of oomph, so it's not just strawberry. Gotta wait for this to cook off and we'll see what happens. Alright, so I threw everything together. Looks good for the most part, although I wish it was a little less chunky. The color is almost in a zone where I'm okay with, but I've already lost one to the realism. I gotta try and save it. Oh yeah, that's more like it. And it's just about ready to pour as well. Alright, these look the most accurate to their in-game appearance with the nice glossy color and not looking like the surface of Mars. We'll see how they taste when they cool down. Alright, after a dramatic cleanup operation including scrubbing the stove, ready to try them? If you look closely, see how they almost look kind of paste-like? That means I undercooked them or did something else wrong. However, this is still pretty close to being decent. Oh, okay. A little high on strawberry, but otherwise pretty decent.
Completely opposite to Ungo's, I undercooked the candy and went overboard in terms of fruit. Although my journey so far had some bumps, I was still proud of how faithful to my vision things were turning out, even if the products were rough around the edges in more ways than one. Since I was simultaneously getting better at making these and approaching more out there ideas, I would make the final two again as my Senpo Temple application.
Well, hey there, folks. Welcome back, I guess. Hey, we're doing the YouTuber reference sausage. I'm really looking forward to this one. I only need to use one pot, and we're using one of my favorite ingredients, green fucking tea. Oh, and this thing. So here we see the result of me yet again having the worst fucking luck on the goddamn planet. So after I added the green tea, it started to bubble up super weirdly, and also started to smell like fish food. However, I had a remedy to fix that. My plan was to add more water, lower the heat, stir it like a madman, and see if that helped. But right at that time, I got an important phone call from the doctor's office, so I had to take it off heat, and now we have fish food. Gotta start again. Houston, we have fish food. So here's finished product. I tried to get a blue color to come out of it, but the green tea just massively overpowered it. I do have an idea of how I could maybe get a better color out. What if instead of just dumping green tea powder straight into the candy, I used green tea, the drink, to hydrate the sugar instead of just water? I feel like that might work, and I'll try it. Also, a bit of behind the scenes, this is how you clean up a sugar pot. The only weakness of hard sugar is boiling water. Trust me on this. Hard sugar is unkillable unless you use boiling water. I have learned that the hard way. Alright, I've discovered a bit of a problem with this. Yeah. And this is at, like, refrigerator temperatures, by the way, so I have fucked up. I undercooked this one, so it didn't really get to that state where it solidifies. So I'll have to see how it tastes, though. And it's a damn shame that this one didn't turn out, because it's really, really good. Like, it's pretty damn good. Alright, made me a bit of fancy matcha. Unfortunately, no ceremony or ceremonial room for it, but it has left me with something that looks pretty promising. So you remember me talking about how I have a habit of forgetting to record reactions? Well, I did it again and then some. I just completely fucking forgot to record this process for the redo. I will say, though, pretty good.
I know I just said I was getting better at making the candy, but Gachins gave me a bit of trouble. Hell, even the final batch wasn't perfect. It may or may not taste a bit like lawn clippings. Rest assured that I didn't fuck up Yashiriku's. Not too hard, that is. It wasn't my favorite candy by taste, but it's the one I'm most proud of in terms of execution. Unfortunately, I couldn't record that execution because I had to make a mad dash to prepare it within a tight schedule as my family were making racket around me. I did get to record my first taste, though. Welcome to Yashiriku's Sugar Review ASMR. I have to do it quietly and in my bedroom because my family's making a ton of racket for my dad's birthday party. Second, I had to pound this out really quickly because a brother who I haven't seen for a long time is coming up. I really wanted it to be ready for him since he's actually the one who introduced me to Sekiro. This one's for you, bro. Oh yeah. Whew. Yeah, it definitely feels like I'm having half my health taken away. Yeah. It's not bad, though. For Yashiriku's sugar, I wanted to give it sweet heat to embody the trade-off of health for damage. Sweet to grant you strength, heat to exact its price and get you going. I thought long and hard about how to do so, and I decided on making a Mexican mole sauce and using that to flavor the candy. I wanted Yashiriku's to be the crazy one because it's canonically fucked up and it's the favorite of hardcore players. In doing so, I broke my rule of sticking to simple ingredients that could be loosely tied to something Japanese. Was it native to Japan? No. Did it kick ass? Absolutely. I would definitely try a mole sauce sometime if I were you. It's pretty neat as long as the ratio of ingredients is correct. Speaking of ingredients, I owe you my thanks for watching this far and a detailed explanation of why I chose the ingredients I did. I already explained Yashirikus, Gokans, and Ungos, but others remain. Akko's was a fairly simple choice. Since it's a simple minor damage boost and it's the first or second candy you find, I figured I would go for something simple but effective. Because it's light red, I went with strawberry. Due to favoring aggression less than Yashiriku's but more than other candies, I used a large amount of cinnamon and a dash of paprika to give it just a hint of oomph. To oppose the harsh and hearty flavors of everything else, I chose green tea and hibiscus for gachins because I wanted a calm and low-key flavor profile to match the low-key playstyle granted by the stealth boost. Speaking of stealth, it's about time I snuck out of this video. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe if you want Gordon Ramsay to burn me at the stake for my transgressions.